Magnificat anima mea Dominum,
et exsultat spiritus meus in Deo salutari meo.
Welcome to the new episode of the theme St.Teresa of Avila, Mother of Interior Souls. Christian spirituality is a common sense spirituality. Jesus took a walk one Sabbath day through the cornfields. The disciples were hungry and began to pick ears of corn and eat them. The Pharisees noticed it and said to Jesus, "Look, your disciples are doing something that is forbidden on the Sabbath." Jesus answered them, defending his disciples, "Have you not read what David did when he and his followers were hungry? How they went into the house of God, and how they ate the loaves of offering which neither he nor his followers were allowed to eat, but were for the priest alone. Or again, have you not read in the law that on the Sabbath day the temple priest breaks the Sabbath without being blamed for it? And if you have understood the meaning of the words, 'What I want is mercy, not sacrifice,' you would not have condemned the blameless." What Jesus says is that the claim of human need must take precedence of all other claims. The claims of worship, ritual, liturgy are important, but prior to any of them is a claim of human need. Common sense is an important factor of Christian spirituality. St. Teresa of Avila, following Jesus, says that common sense is an important factor in prayer life too. She writes, "It would be a bad business for us if we could not seek God until we were dead to the world. God, deliver me from people who are so spiritual that they want to turn everything into perfect contemplation, come what may." We need some sort of life convenience for our moral and spiritual life to develop. Moral life can hardly develop with an empty stomach. Proverbs says, "Give me neither poverty nor riches. Grant me only my share of bread to eat, for fear that, surrounded by plenty, I should fall away and say, 'Yahweh, who is Yahweh?' Or else in destitution take to stealing and profane the name of my God." For some pious Christians, to feel insensitive to sickness and misfortune would constitute the perfection of the conformity to the will of God. Against them, St. Teresa says, "Do not think that if, for example, my father or my brother dies, I ought to be in such close conformity with the will of God that I shall not grieve at his loss, or that if I have trials or illnesses, I must enjoy bearing them." We feel sorrow and express it externally, and this is part of our emotional life. Jesus also wept on seeing Martha and Mary and the Jews weeping over the death of Lazarus. One who lives by faith should never become desperate in the midst of his trials. On one of her travels, she was criticized for eating an expensive partridge when it was served to her. And she looked up, surprised, and said, "There is a time for partridge and a time for penance." She wrote to her brother Lorenzo, "God desires your health more than your penance. I am fond of strictness in the practice of virtue, but not of austerity." To a Mother Superior, she wrote, "If you are happy with the porcelains, I mean the elderly woman's daughters, you don't have to do anything else than admit them to profession, even though they may have some infirmities, for there is no woman without them." To Father Banus, she wrote, "Don't give your consent for the prioress to stop eating meat, and tell her to take care of her health." According to her new rule, OCDs then were bound to keep abstinence. To Father Gratian, she wrote, "I am very sorry that Padre Mariano feels so weak. Make him eat well, and don't let him think at all about going to Rome, for his health is more important." To a Mother Superior, she wrote, "That Mother Subprioress's better was a great joy for me. If she always need to eat meat, it doesn't matter that she does so even in Lent, for one does not break the rule when a necessity is present, nor should one be strict in this matter. I ask our Lord to give me virtues, especially humility and love for others, which is what is important." She was a shrewd and practical businesswoman. Buying a house required shrewdness. We get a picture of it when St. Teresa was looking for houses to buy in Palencia. In the Book of Foundations, chapter 29, she writes, "But eventually I went, and I also visited the houses near the Church of Our Lady, not however with the intention of taking them, but merely so that the owner of the house should not think we had no choice but to take his." Caution while buying a home for her nuns. She told the nuns, "I beg you to begin at once to confer about buying it, but without looking too eager, because then they will raise the price." When criticism arose regarding the price of the house, she wrote to a gentleman who helped the nuns to purchase it, "As for the price of the house, I am not unhappy, nor should you be. In exchange for a house being in good locality, I never mind giving a third more than what it is worth, and I have even ended up giving a half more. It is so important to have a monastery well located that it would be a mistake to look at the price. Considering the water and the view, I would elsewhere have gladly paid much more than what the house cost. Glory to God that you were so successful." When St. Teresa was building the convent at Malagon in 1568, she remained outside all the day watching the builders, sitting on a large stone where she had lunch brought to her, for fear the builders would try to cheat her in her absence. We may in short conclude that St. Teresa of Avila was a woman of great common sense, with a flair of heavenliness soaked with amazing earthiness. Her life and teaching unquestionably demonstrate that union with God through prayer makes a man 100% human, raising all his natural endowments to their maximum perfection. A man of genuine, authentic prayer becomes normal in every respect, in every aspect of human life. Thank you.